Good morning and welcome. Hello, how are you? It is I, the OGGM, coming to you live from a place known as Site B with our brand new theme song. Thank you, Aaron Cornelius, for this singing song. Soon I'll try to figure out actually how to do this the right way. Okay, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. It's the 18th day of March 2023. Spring is here. It is gorgeous and sunny and warm and bright. And it is time to take another dive into the amazing world of DC20 as sent to us by our friend Dungeon Coach. Thank you, Dungeon Coach, for sending us DC20. As you know, we did a look at it on Saturday and tried to make a character and did horribly. Since then, a lot of people have reached out to me and told me what I did wrong, and they watched a video on it. So I think I'm a little bit closer, but still, this is a very clunky system. I'm hoping once the alpha test is done and we see the beta test, it's laid out better, because right now the layout is just counterintuitive to me. Now remember, this is just me. And remember, Dungeon Coach made it very clear he did not want me to do a page-by-page review. So I'm just jumping into sections that interest me. Character creation being the first. The second, of course, being combat. And since the number one argument that's going around right now because of Daggerheart Initiative, let's see how they do initiative in DC20, and then we're going to look at the table of contents, and I'm going to show you why it's a little too clunky for me. It's way too clunky for me. My brain is old. It's 57-year-old brain. I have, as you know, horrible dyslexia that has only gotten worse with age. I have high-functioning autism and obsessive compulsiveness that, again, has only gotten worse with age, and of course various anxiety issues that make this kind of system just the antithesis of my brain. My dyslexia and my obsessive compulsiveness is just rebelling, but I'm trying. So this is not a system for me yet. Doesn't mean there aren't things in there I like and that it might evolve into something. I'm certainly enjoying this way more than Daggerheart. It's definitely written better. It definitely feels like a game. I can definitely see the influences are, it appears, 5e, 4e, Pathfinder, Deadlands of all things, and True 20. So I can definitely see his resume. So initiative, blah, blah, blah. Initiative overview. Initiative term, blah, blah, blah. Rolling for initiative. Initiative checks. Initiative help action, critical success and critical failure initiative, initiative check sidebar. So we can already see he's taken something very simple and made it complex. Rolling for initiative is when players make initiative checks to determine the overall order of participants in combat. That hasn't changed. Roll dice, add number. The PCs are trying to beat the initiative DC for the combat so that the PCs team can go first in the initiative order. Once the GM has called for this, combat is officially started, and all creatures gain access to their action points and any combat relevant features. Each PC now has to determine what their initiative check is in order to roll for initiative. So first you roll to see who goes first, and then you roll to see where you go, as opposed to just everybody rolling, and whoever has the highest number goes first. Or players, the one side works and you just go down, and then the other side. And if that side works, you go down and just no. But okay, I'm reading this as, well, first I have to roll to see if my team goes first or the DM goes first. And if my team goes first, then I have to roll to each individual to see who goes first in that initiative. And the DM then gets to decide where he gets to go or goes after that. Okay, initiative checks. Initiatives are taken by each PC right before the start of combat will determine what type of check they make for their initiative checks. The check should be an attack check, spell check, skill check, or even a trade check. The GM will go around to each PC and either approve and assist them in determining their initiative. Once everyone's initiative has checks have been agreed upon, the group will all roll for an initiative together. Wait, what? Hold on. That just gave me a headache. I have a feeling it's time for kittens. Because when we get deep into weird math like this, I like to show you guys kittens as a way to calm us down. So this feels like a kitten moment. Aw, kittens. Okay. Step 1. PCs are trying to beat the initiative DC for the combat so that the PC team can go first in initiative order. All right. So I'm rolling and the DM's rolling. No, the DM's not rolling anything. If I win the initiative DC, I go. If I fail the DC, the DM goes. Once the GM has called for this, combat has officially started and all creatures gain access to their action points, which will allow them, I guess, to do things, and combat relevant features. Each PC now has to determine what their initiative check is, see below, in order to roll for initiative. Okay, so we haven't rolled initiative yet. We're just now decided whether the players go first or the GM goes first. Let's say the players go first. Initiative is taken by each PC right before the start of combat. We'll determine what type of check they make for their initiative check. This check could be an attack check, fighter. I run in and swing my sword, spell check. I cast magic missile, skill check. I'm going to go pick the lock and ignore you guys. A trade check. I want to see if this guy wants me to make a sandwich instead. Okay. Example, one PC is talking to a group of enemy bandits while another PC is sneaking around behind them. If combat were to happen to break out, the initiative checks for the talking PC would be an influence check, while the sneaking PC would make a stealth check. See more examples below. The GM will go around to each PC and either approve or assist them in determining their initiative check. Steve, what do you want to do? I want to attack the biggest goblin. Okay, that's an attack initiative. Erwin, what do you want to do? I'm going to cast magic missile. All right, that's a spell check initiative. Susan, what are you going to do? I'm going to run over and attack that other goblin. All right, that's an attack initiative. And OGGM, what are you going to do? I'm going to ignore this combat because I don't care. I'm going to go over and open that chest. Okay, that's a skill check. And Delilah, what are you going to do? Still making a sandwich. Okay, that's a trade check. Okay. Once everyone's initiative check has been agreed upon, the group will then roll initiative check. Okay, you roll your thing, and 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 tell me who goes first. Okay, so you go the thing, and then example, the rogue was caught pickpacking, trickery check. The ranger knows the beast you are about to fight very well, animal check. The monk is investigating a pile of bones before a monster attacks, investigation check. The fighter sees dangers and draws their sword and shield to step in front of their allies ready to protect them, attack check. The sorcerer describes their magic crackling around them as they prepare for battle, entertainment check, or blah, 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 initiative check, whatever. What am I trying to say? Intimidation check or spell check. I'm sorry, this hurts my brain just reading it. I'm really sorry, DM coach. Kitten break. PCs are able to kill the health action and grant a help dice, a D8, to the initiative check to an ally of their choice. DM description. In doing so, the PC describes how they're helping the ally, and then they make the flat D20 roll for their initiative check. Who does? The person you're helping or the player? So I decide Susan's initiative isn't high enough. I want to help them, so I'm going to spend my initiative to help their initiative by giving them an extra D8 once they roll initiative. How am I helping them do their initiative? Pushing them forward? Picking them up and throwing them? Giving them a rousing speech of how they can do it? Playing theme music? That's new. That's different. I'm not sure where that's from. I don't think I've ever heard that before, but I guess I don't see why you couldn't use an help action to help somebody else's initiative. I would think that would be a warlord feature or a bard feature, not just a feature anybody and their dog could use. And I would really love to see examples in real life, but okay. Other than just pushing them in front of you. You can also roll a critical success, which allows the PC to get an advantage, or critical failure, which means you go last in an initiative and you are considered exposed. And then there's a sideboard. These checks used by the PC are their initiative checks, don't have any mechanical in-game value, and used solely to determine the initiative order. A player describing their PC grabbing an enemy to start the fight could use the athletics check for their initiative check, but this roll does not count as a grapple attempt. A player describing the PC as charging up a healing spell to protect their allies could make a spell check for their initiative check, but they need to perform another spell check on their turn to actually perform the spell. Kitten check. Am I reading this right, ladies and gentlemen, or am I completely wrong? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Something happens. Let's use a standard. Turn the corner. There's goblins. The rogue has gone ahead to check the hallway. The rogue turns the corner. He sees goblins. That initiates the potential of initiative. All right. Now, the DM decides the initiative DC, let's say 15. So somebody in the party rolls a D20, and if they roll 15 or higher, the party goes first. Otherwise, the bad guys go first. Okay? I'm guessing you could use that help action to add that D8 to help you beat the DC or Bard abilities or Warlock abilities. All right, the player characters have won. Right? Now we're going to ask for their initiative checks. The rogue wants to continue his stealth. His initiative check is going to be stealth or trickery. Then we have the attack checks. The people are just going to run around the corner, then attack them. So they're all making attack checks. Then the wizard's going to be charging up a sleep spell. So that's a sleep check. And Delilah's making sandwiches still. So that's a trade check. So if they succeed the check, they get to roll initiative. But if they fail, they don't. Or they're just telling the DM what they're going to do on their round ahead of time so they can't change it. Is that what he means? Is that what he's saying? He's saying, once you tell me what you're going to do, you can't change it. So, rogue, if you're telling me you're going to stealth once initiative starts, you can't change it. You've told me you're making a stealth check, attack check, spell check, sandwich check. You can't change it. Is that what he's saying? Or is he saying, okay, first you have to roll the check to see if you can actually do what you're saying you can do, and then you have to roll initiative. Then we roll initiative to see the order of which the characters go. But at any character can at any point in time say help action to add the D8 to somebody else's initiative. Again, that feels like just something the Bard and the Warlord should be able to do, and not everybody, but okay. Do the bad guys get to do this too, or the bad guys don't get these abilities? The bad guys have just lost. You lost, bad guys. Have any action points, special abilities? They still get to use them. So I guess the bad guys are telling the DM what they're going to do on their initiative, which, knowing our goblins, is either going to be run away or fight. So again, am I reading this as, once you tell me what you're going to do, you can't change it? You're making a stealth check, you're making an attack check, you're making a spell check, and you're making your sandwich check. That's set in stone. Now we're going to roll initiative. You guys have won, so we're just seeing the order that you go. And on your roll, on your number, you then have to roll your checks again. So, Susan, you rolled highest. You now have to make your attack check against the goblin. Okay. Steven, you're casting sleep spell. You made your spell check. So we know your sleep spell. is going to be, it says check though. It says spell check. It doesn't say tell me determination. He tells me he's going to make a spell check and it says roll now, or he could roll his spell DC for his initiative. But on his initiative, he still has to roll another spell DC to see whether he can actually perform the spell or not. So he could tell me, I'm going to cast sleep and I'm rolling my sleep DC. But when he casts sleep, he still has to roll his spell check. And if he fails, he can't roll sleep. And then we get to whatever the bad guys are going to do. And the DM has decided they're all going to attack this round because they think they can take these guys. So whatever. The 15 goblin fighters and spearmen are going to just roll normal attacks. And the goblin commander is going to do his spells to bolster his enemies, stinking cloud or whatever. Now we cycle back again. Round 2. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What can you do? Okay, roll your check, roll your check, roll your check, roll your check. I guess once the DC is determined, then the players are always going to go first and you don't have to roll every round. Okay, so this sounds like, and again, I could be completely wrong. This sounds like the very, very, very old school who goes first initiative. It's ranged first, then spells, then melee, then stuff, right? Ranged attacks go first, then spellcasters go second, so they don't hit anybody with their spells. Fighters go third, and Delilah with her sandwich making goes fourth. That's old school, that's Osric, that's Castles and Crusades. As opposed to just saying, roll initiative, what are you going to do on your turn? All right, we've rolled initiative. Everybody has their, the classic normal initiative that we're used to. Whoever rolls highest goes, and then we just go down the pecking order. Maybe there's a good guy, maybe there's a bad guy. And on their action, you declare what you do, initiative happens, then you're going to do what you do, but you could change it because things have happened, or this is saying you can't change it because you've already, I think what he's saying is once you tell me what you're going to do and once you make that check, you can't change it once we roll initiative. So if Delilah, if you're making a sandwich and we roll initiative, that's all you can do. You're making that sandwich this round. Roll your trade check to see how successful you make that sandwich on your round. Meanwhile, Susan, you were stealthing. You can't change that because you made a stealth check. So now on your initiative, roll your stealth check again to see if you can continue stealthing behind the goblin commander. And everybody else, you told me you were attacking. You made an attack initiative check. So now it's your initiative. You have to make an attack, or Emily, you have to make a spell check to see if your sleep spell went off. Kitten. Oh, look at the marmalade. If I ever got another cat, it would probably be a marmalade. Or another black cat. But marmalades are just so cute. Or another Russian blue. I thought we were going to talk about the table of contents too, but the initiative system just broke me. Personally, while I see what you're trying to do, I think, I'm not sure, and it does feel like we're rolling way too many dice to determine who gets to do what when, bogging down the most complicated, most monotonous aspect of the game already even further. Once you enter combat, it's like a mini game. Yep, you're right, it is. Let's make that mini game even more complicated. Now, instead of just 1 or 2 rolls, we're rolling 3 or 4 or 5 rolls, and I'm not even sure if I'm right. I now need to watch his video about initiative. Thank God he didn't ask me to go through this page by page. We've already spent 20 minutes. I said we were going to look at the table of contents, but I have a feeling that's going to take me another 20 minutes. But okay, let's look at the table of contents. Let's go to page 1. "20 minutes for me to try and explain Initiative." All right, here's the table of contents. Can you see it? All right. 7 pages of fluff. Then explaining the attributes and the way to make the attributes. Then explaining the skills. Then explaining the skill masteries. 21 pages. Then explaining how the checks and save system work. There's attribute checks, attack checks, spell checks, skill checks, trade checks, language checks, special checks, passive checks, attribute saves, special saves, advantage and disadvantage, multiple check penalties. Then we have attack types, defense types, because we have physical defense and mental defense, health points, death's door. I've already read the rules on death, and they're pretty complicated too. We'll do that next time. Types of damage, resources in combat. We have action points, mana points, stamina points, and grit points. Then we have the actions you can do, reactions, the different maneuvers you can take, techniques, spell casting. And we haven't even gotten to character creation yet. Combat, environment, types of vision, creatures in combat, equipment, weapons and armors, and normal crap, conditions, resting, DCs, and then a game master guide that starts on page 86. On page 87, we get to the character creation. We get the talents, the multi-class and prestige system, the ancestries, of which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ancestries. We have the barbarian class, we have the bard class, we have the druid class, we have the cleric class, we have the fighter class, we have the monk class, we have the paladin class, we have the scion class, we have the ranger class, the rogue class, the sorcerer class, the warlock class, the warlord class, and the wizard class. And we have some pre-made spell lists, and then we have the change log on 172. No safety tools. But the system has combat, action points, stamina points, mana points, grit points, physical saves, mental saves, death's door when you're at 0 hit points, but you can still do things at death's door as long as you succeed at making a save every round. If you fail that save, then you're exhausted and you take 1 point of damage. If you take 3 more points of damage, you die, but you're still conscious unless you fail the save. Then you're unconscious and bleeding. And every round you have to get to make the save to see whether you're, still bleeding. But if you critically succeed, of course, magically you're stabilized. If you critically fail, you take another point and then you're dead if you take 3. I haven't even gotten to spell points, which involve mana points and the spell system yet. And I'm already got a headache. I sent him a question this morning about where his influences were. And I'm seeing 5e, a lot of 4e, some stuff from True 20 of all things, some stuff from Deadlands with the grip points, but the mana points, the stamina points, action points, and what you can do with action points, those are all from a bunch of different places. True 20 had some of those. There's some other systems that had mana points and stamina points. Some superhero systems use those. A lot of more esoteric spell system games use mana points, as opposed to just the normal way of D20 spells. People have said, give it a chance. Wait to the beta. This is still a work in product. That's why it's laid out the way it is. People have said you need to watch the videos to understand the game, which reminds me of a joke that my friend Aaron and I used to have. Only somebody who knows the rules can teach you the rules of the game, but who taught them? Well, only somebody who knew the rules could teach them the rules of the game. Well, who taught them? You know, just this infinite who taught them? Where does the rules come from in the first place? If people are telling me you got to watch the videos to understand the character creation system, or you got to wait to the change, I don't know if that's a good thing, DM coach. He says he doesn't have time for an interview. So I'm sending him Q&As. I'm going to send him a Q&A right away about this initiative system. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because right now, to me, and again, this is just to me, I'm trying to be impartial on my 3 read-throughs. It's way too complicated, as opposed to simply saying, once you tell me what you're going to do, you can't change it. Well, I'm critiquing initiative right now. Next, I'll critique and death and the layout. Next, I'll critique, you know, the action points, the point system to see how that works. But, you know, I've already wasted 20 minutes talking about initiative, which should have been 5. Initiative. Okay, let's roll to see who goes first. We're going to roll different sides, right? If you roll over 10, you go first. If you go under 10, my bad guy's first. Over 10. Okay, you guys go first. Tell me what you're going to do. And once you roll initiative, you can't change that. Now everybody roll initiative. All right, who goes first? Susan goes first. Well, I told you I was going to attack, so I'm going to keep attacking. That's it. That's what it should be. What was that? Like 8 seconds? A minute? 2 minutes? Once, just tell me what you're going to do. I don't need a long story. I'm going to sneak. Damn, that's it. Bam. I mean, yeah, I have to enforce that, but I feels like what he's trying to say, maybe, as opposed to this, then this, then this, then this, then it should be see this, tell me what you're going to do, roll initiative. And once you knew that, once you declare that, you can't change that. Once the initiative dice is rolled, you can't say, oh, wait. Nope, you've said you're going to sneak. You're spending your round sneaking. Okay, well, I was going to go over more of the character. You know, next time we'll do the stamina points, action points, spell points, grit points tomorrow, because I've already spent way too much time just talking about initiative, and that's just, yeah, you know. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. I assure you, I'm not an AI. If you want to check out DC20 yourself, links down below. If you haven't had a chance to buy my product yet, please use the links down below to purchase Elves with Sticks or any of the product from the Wretched Vigilantes. See this guy? Give him a sub. Give DM Kurt a sub. Help this guy reach 1,000 subs. That's it. That exhausted me. That just too much. I don't like that initiative system. But you tell me what you think, because I'm here for you. Talk to you later. Have a great